Another episode of Grange TV. We have with us Mr. David Roberts, all-round good fellow, TAFE worker, sometimes a musician. Robert Whittaker, all-round good bloke, UFC middleweight champion. What an evening we have in front of us, ladies and gentlemen.
You're not selling it right now.
What an evening we have.
Announcing Keno.
We have an amazing evening of fights and all sorts of trickery and skullduggery waiting for you guys. Rob, how you been, mate?
I've been good. I saw the fights on the weekend, so I'm looking forward to talking about those. We have a very interesting month ahead of us, and now that, you know, with the Kelvin Gastelum and Adesanya fight over and done with, I have a kind of opponent direction. I have someone in my crosshairs, and yeah, you know, it's a good time to be alive, mate.
What do you think of the fights? What were the fights like for you, from your perspective?
So I guess I thought the fight card was amazing. I thought that it was an amazing night for fights, especially the co-main and main event. Like, I thought those fights were, like it's been said, the fight of the year. I think so. Like, it's unbelievable.
Let's start with Irvin St. Preux and Nikita Krylov. I probably butchered both those names, both gentlemen. I apologise, and don't break my face when you see me. What do you think of that fight?
Yeah, I thought it was a. OSP is like one of those guys. Like he can look so good, or he can just look like he's on the back foot the whole time. And you know, it's just one of those nights where OSP just didn't shine to like he could have. I don't know. He's like a very hot and cold fighter. You know what I mean?
What do you think? What do you think makes it that way?
To be honest, I don't know. That's the $1 million question. Like, how can you get a fighter to a fight and like make him feel like it's his night? Like Max Holloway said in his post-fight interview. Like, he said I came here and it felt like my night, and it wasn't. You know,
it's true though.
Yeah, it just happens.
It's true.
You can't do it, and I think OSP just wasn't his night. You know. But
do you think there's do you see any idiosyncrasies in his fight style that lend itself to? Well, because like Max Holloway, let's be fair, he might have lost the decision, which he did. He lost the decision. Absolutely, congratulations to Dustin Poirier, it's amazing. But it's not like it wasn't his night. It's not like he went out there and didn't perform or didn't do well. Like, he did really, really well. It's just that he fought a guy that it was his night 2.0 that night, you know? So what do you think it is with... Because Irvin St. Preux, there's been times where you look at him and you're like, man, this guy will beat anyone. Yeah. And then there's massive discrepancies. It's like you fight someone and the guy's better than you or better than you that night, and that's it. What do you do? But with OSP, you don't know.
I think he's one of those fighters, like you said, he's one of those fighters that he, stylistically, you know how styles make fights, right? It's when he matches up against someone that is compatible for his style, and he's kind of the bully, he's kind of the leader of the dance, if you would. He runs them over. He is so well at being the forward aggressor.
Do you think that's got a lot to do with the physicality and the physicality that he brings? And if you're able to match that physicality like Krylov did?
Yeah. If you look at that, a lot of his losses are to guys with the same reach, the same height, and the same sort of athleticism that he brings to the table. Because he is a specimen. I've stood next to him. We both have.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He's huge.
I don't think this is in any way like, just because, you know, after people are going to say Robert Whittaker calls OSP a bully.
No. He's a good guy.
He's a lovely guy.
Great guy.
But I think because when I look, like, you know, when you think about when someone's going to fight, I always think that with OSP. I always think, like, if OSP can put it over the guy physically, like if he's going to be the bigger, stronger guy, I don't bet, but I tend to bet on...
Lean towards it.
Yeah, on OSP.
He knows how to use his advantages very, very well. Like, he knows how to use his reach well. He knows how to, if he's a bigger, stronger guy, he knows how to work in his takedowns real well, especially off the fence. And
he doesn't look like a weak guy.
No, when he gets a guy that he's physically kind of superior to on the fence, he does work. He does work.
What do you think of the Dwight Grant and Alan Germain fight?
You know what? it was very back and forth. I don't know who's Jabane fought previously.
He's fought a bunch of different guys.
I feel like he disappeared for a little bit.
Yeah, he did. I think that fight was interesting because Dwight was very awkward and he throws big, heavy shots, but he's awkward.
Every punch was loaded. Every single punch. And
we were talking before we were on air. You were talking before about people that how much the cardio affects if you're moving backwards and you're moving forwards. And then this guy was moving backwards and then just loading up on shots, moving laterally and then loading up on shots. And it was hard, I think, for Jabane to get a proper read on it. Although it was a close fight. It was a really, really close fight. I mean, it doesn't matter. Excuse me. I don't think it matters who I think won the fight or whatever. But also my friend, Dennis Roberts, shout out to Dennis Roberts, was one of Dwight Grant's cornermen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was. I mean, I was kind of leaning towards him only because of that.
I actually found it. I found it like almost funny to watch because no matter what shot it was, whether it was a counter or it was a slip counter or it was a forward aggression, it was just power. He swung so hard, so heavy, and you were saying like when we said that like you. Even if you're landing a lot of shots, if you're moving backwards or you're hesitating coming in, you can't forward pressure a guy like Grant like actively and openly. It's hard. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to do so.
What do you think of the Khalil Roundtree versus Eric Anders fight?
Hold on, before we pass the fight I also couldn't get over how they were pronouncing Joban.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Alan Joban. This is so good.
It might be the way you pronounce it. I don't know.
It was killing me. I don't think so. I'm pretty certain it's not.
How cool is this guy's name? Boston Salmon. Good on you, man.
Is that real? Yeah. Boston Salmon. Oh look, no, he's gonna bash us next time we see him, man.
What do you think of Khalil Roundtree versus Eric Anders? And I mean, Khalil fought Tyson.
Yeah.
Tyson Pedro.
Yeah.
Well,
and Pedro beat him in the first round.
He cracked Tyson as well. He's
so heavy. So I think that was Pedro's first fight.
Yeah.
First fight.
We were on the same
card.
Chin, yeah.
Or we were guests there or something.
No. He was. You and him were on the same card because I remember being at the back.
Who did I fight that night?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
But
Can you look that up, Dave?
I remember because
Khalil Roundtree versus Tyson Pedro. What card that was on?
Because I remember Khalil like walked in, landed that right hand, and Pedro like dropped, got put on his bum, and then Roundtree rushed in. But then Pedro turned it around, got the sweep, and got a submission out of it.
He's moved for the most part of the year or whatever to Thailand to train. But a lot of the times I think he obviously looked like he's gotten a lot better and think. But how much of that just comes from you being comfortable in the octagon from you? Because from my understanding, he started off just like to lose weight and train and blah blah blah, and he did, and then he was like, okay, I'm getting good at this and da da da. So he's relatively new to the fight game. It was a Brunson fight.
Oh wow!
Can we look at how many fights Khalil has had? Oh, he's 10 fights. So he's had 10 fights, 7 wins, 3 losses.
No, I think that's the old one. That was the record then. So yeah,
it'd be 8. It'd be 11 fights or 12 fights maximum.
But yeah, he looked much sharper. He was putting on the Thai fighting style on display that night.
Yeah,
like he was even adopting it. And
do you think Eric Anders' style though lent itself to him being able to put that show on? Like, do you think he'd be able to put that show on, and would he look that much more improved if he were to have fought a grappler heavy kind of background person?
I guess that's the question, because wasn't that always like Khalil's thing was like he was a stand-up guy, like
he was a striker,
athletic, strong, powerful.
Yeah,
but Yeah, I guess that's what we got to find out. So it was like how.
But what do you think?
It's hard to say. Like, where's he been training in Thailand? Because I know he has been training there.
Well, I don't know, somewhere in Thailand.
Like,
with Thais.
He's obviously been working with his Thai kickboxing.
Yeah.
Striking looks phenomenal. Like the speed and precision he had there was top notch for the division. But I guess it's like how much has he been working on his ground game? Because there's a lot of guys in the light heavyweight division that are very good at the ground. Like the ground game is what brought him to success. Like DC, for instance. Like if you don't have grappling behind you, you're gonna have the best striker in the world. And he's fought people with great striking, big heavy hitters, and he's messed them up bad.
I have a question for you here. Who do you think? How do you think Luke Rockhold would do against John Jones? Because I saw a picture of Luke Rockhold and he's looking massive.
He's a big guy.
But he's looking massive now.
Well, honestly.
Sorry. I was just talking to people that have trained with him, and he's saying that he's looking massive now.
If the extra weight helps like his hydration and his fluid in his brain and it helps his chin factor, if you will, then he's going to be dangerous. He's going to be a dangerous guy because he's got a very, very good skill set, a very clean skill set. He's got very, very good striking, and he's great at using his skills and his abilities to their maximum efficiency. Like
how do you see them? Because both of those guys traditionally have been the taller fighter,
the bigger guy.
Both of them as well have been the taller fighter with decent striking, like good striking, and both of them have also gone, well, now when I need to take it to the ground, I'm going to take it to the ground with really good grappling, both John Jones and Luke Rockhold. So how do you see that? Because at first you'd think like you got to lean towards John Jones just because he's the naturally bigger guy, blah, 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 blah. But then I started thinking about it. I was thinking, you know what? Like even if John Jones were to take Rockhold down, I don't know. I don't know that.
John, the thing that John has is he's got great wrestling, like top-notch wrestling. And I think he could use that to his advantage in controlling the top position, dictating how it goes to the ground. Because that's a big thing. You can have the best grappling in the world, but if you're like a guy who knows how to sit on top and gets on top, like he'll stay there.
But you really think he'd be able to hold Rockhold down like that? Because Jacare couldn't really. Like he trains with Cormier. He's trained with Cormier at least for a long time. Do you think that John Jones would be able to do that with Rockhold?
Has there been anyone John Jones hasn't been able to do that with?
Well, there's been fights where he hasn't really been able to hold the guys down per se. Yeah, it's not like he, or he's had trouble taking him down or whatnot.
Yeah,
I've got no doubt like that John Jones could take him down. Yeah. I'm just saying, do you think he'd be able to hold him down?
I don't know.
Would he outstrike him?
That's hard. That's hard because they have such similar styles, like in the sense that like not similar, as in like they punch the same or they kick the same. No, they both like a distance sort of fighter. They fight in a similar manner on the outside, like poke here, hit there, poke here. Like they never really rush in and do damage. That's a very interesting.
Do you think that Rockhold has more of a one-hit stop factor with that left kick?
Definitely, but that landing kicks is hard, especially on a guy like John Jones or anyone rangy. It's hard to kick a guy that's good at being rangy, especially the guys that have pretty good stand up. John Jones got great stand up. He knows how to. Yeah, he can. His defense is pretty on point. You saw that with a lot of his Lionheart fight. The guy his defense is quite on point.
What do you think of the knockdowns that Khalil Roundtree did against Eric Anders? Do you think the fight should have been stopped?
I don't think the fight should have been stopped by the referee. Definitely not. Like I don't think that's his place to stop a fight then. Like I think like Eric was still in the fight. Whether he was getting a hiding, but he was in the fight.
Do you think his corner should have stopped the fight?
That's the bigger question. Is like.
What's your opinion on that?
It's hard for me. Sitting on the outside, you look and you say, it's hard. it's hard. I find it a very hard question to answer, because if I was in that fight, I would hate my corner to throw in the towel. Yes, that would be the smarter decision. Like if I was in Eric Anders' shoes, it would be the smart decision. But as a fighter and as a guy, especially a guy like Eric Anders who knows he's one punch away from winning at any point in the fight, I would be gutted if my corner threw in the towel. Absolutely gutted.
In fairness, I think when you watch, these are things I just think about. Like, even if he'd won it, because there's two arguments here. From like a fight perspective, he was always in it, and he wasn't like he was. Even when he was sitting down, it wasn't like he was like all over the place. He was coherent, so that I could tell. Anyways, he might not have been, or he may well have been, and he could have always won that fight. But from a mental health, brain damage perspective, you think like, man, even if you win that fight, you sustained a ton of damage. Yeah, you know. So it's. But at the end of the day, it is a fist fight that you signed up for. Yeah. And Eric Anders looks like nobody's forcing him to fight. Like, he looks like he was quite happy to fight. Yeah,
very much so. And like I said, with someone like him, like, he's always one punch away from winning. Like, you know, like, yeah, he's had fights like that before and won.
Yeah.
Like, I think his corner did the right thing in their shoes.
Yeah,
but, definitely, in the case of whether the referee should have stopped it, definitely not. Like, Eric was always in that fight coherently. He was never winning the fight, but he was always in that fight. Yeah.
Dave, just get your perspective. You watched the Israel Adesanya Kelvin Gastelum fight. What do you think from your perspective before we get Rob's perspective?
Because mine's such a greater insight than Rob's.
No, but you know what it is? I think it's interesting because
it'll warm the crowd up.
But I think it's also very interesting sometimes to hear the perspective from someone that's not in the fight game. Yep. Because I think a lot of the times people don't, they see things differently. So I don't know. What do you think? What were you expecting of the fight?
Well, I only could watch it while I was walking around the Easter show shopping for show bags. So I had it on my phone. So the first time I watched it, I thought Gastelum put up more of a fight. But then when I watched it again, I thought I felt solidly he won 2 rounds, and then Adesanya sort of just dominated a lot after that. But it's also in saying that, I think Gastelum had opportunities to take advantage of that, especially that head kick. He just stood there like a stunned mullet for like a couple of seconds, and Gastelum did the same. I think he wasn't sure if he actually did that high head kick. I was like, did I actually do that and hit him? Then after that, he went for a takedown instead of, I thought, from my point of view, if he probably kept punching him, he would be right.
While it's fresh, how hard is it sometimes, do you think, to know that your guy's actually hurt, that you hurt your guy that you're fighting? Or do you know?
I can't answer that question, because... No,
not him, but I'm asking you.
Yeah, I know. I can't answer that because it's something I've always been able to feel. I can tell. Even if I don't rock a guy, I can tell when my jabs hurt him. I can tell when I hit someone and I can see. I can just feel it. I can feel.
But is it a visceral thing that you, as Rob, feel it?
I think so. I think it's like an instinctual thing. Unless you're like one of those guys that gets in training partners and you put it on him bad to the finish every session, then you can't teach this. Like you learn it through experience, through fights. And maybe that's how I have gotten it, because I've had a fair few fights now. But it's one of those things that I can tell when I've hurt somebody. I can tell, even if I haven't hurt them, I can tell that, okay, you didn't like this.
But what is it? Is this something that happens in their body language as well?
Yeah, I can see their eyes. I can see the way they react. Subtle things like the way they move, like how they start acting afterwards. Like if I hit a guy in the like a really heavy body kick or a very heavy right hand, and then he starts pushing me back very aggressively, more aggressive than before, I know I've hurt him because he's trying to show me that I didn't. Yeah. And it's like that. Like I can tell if I'm fighting someone, and I hurt you, and like even if we have an exchange and you start acting differently, You're like, your style changes a little differently. You take a step back that you wouldn't have before, or for some reason. I can tell. I can always tell. I can smell blood. And, like that's just me. But, that's me.
Do you think that... What do you think caused Gastelum to go for that takedown instead of trying to finish? Because there wasn't a lot of time left in the round to...
It could be. And this is nothing on Gastelum. This is like... I am trying to come up with crazy hypotheses as why he did what he did without talking to him. So...
Yeah,
Gastelum, Gastelum, if you're watching...
He's like, not. No one watches this, but say whatever you want.
If you're one of the 6 people watching, this is not a dig at you at all. At all. I think you're a great fighter. I thought it was the fight of the year. He might have not had enough confidence in his stand-up to finish him standing. When he could have thought, you know what, I'll take this guy down. I'll ground and pound him. To Gastelum's defense, if he would have landed the takedown, the fight would have been over. Guarantee you.
Yeah, but it was only 10 seconds left. 15 seconds.
Still, no. When he went for the shot, there was a bit more.
There was a bit more. All right.
Yeah, I reckon I think there was a bit more. It was after he had defended the takedown that there was only.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. You're right. Yeah. So had he have landed that? Yeah, you're right.
I think if he got a clean shot on, took him down, it would have been over. He would have ground and pounded into oblivion.
And that's credit to Adesanya for being able to defend that takedown in the state that he was in, because he wasn't in. And then so from Adesanya's perspective, how hard? Because you've also been rocked, and Romero tried to take you down, and you defended the takedown. And how cognizant are you of what's going on there, or is that just the training you do?
It's training you do, it's just training you do. I've had nightmares where I'm defending takedowns. I dream about defending takedowns. It's like the boys at the gym, you know the way we train. You're the one that puts it on us, and puts it all together. We train it so often that sometimes Sophia comes in for a hug and I sprawl.
Get the underhooks.
Get the underhooks.
Get the double underhooks.
I never let myself be in a compromising position ever. It's just one of those things. And credit to him for his training and his discipline in the fight, being able to collect himself. You'd expect it though. He's a very experienced fighter. You'd expect it from him.
I think you expect that from anyone in that top 5-6 guys. That's anyone in that division at that top can. Anyone has a bad day that the belt's taken. Do you know what I mean? At any stage. Yeah. Sorry, Dave, I'll cut you off to get Rob's opinion. So let's go back to your thing.
That was it. I think it was just I think it was a perfect question, Fab, around sort of because from the general viewer like myself, I'm not a fighter. It really looked like Gastelum could have taken out the fight, but he let it go. And again, I think you just captured that question perfectly. But that was it for me. I think the thing that is interesting around fights and scoring is sort of if you're, and I think this came up with the Yoel Romero fight where, if you just watch the fight from the 5th round, Adesanya smashes him. But if you watch the whole fight, I would say, I think you said it too, Rob, that if Gastelum won on points, I wouldn't be surprised either. And I think, that's how I felt.
I don't think Gastelum could have won on points with the 5th round.
That
Adesanya had.
The 5th went?
No.
I think up until the 5th,
it was 2-2. I thought it was 2-2 going in.
But Adesanya won that 5th clearly.
Yeah. You know what I thought. Before, if you watch back again, the last podcast, I said Adesanya. I think Gastelum will have trouble with him. The thing that threw me off.
Are we ignoring the fact that you said it'll be a whitewash either way?
No, I'm about to address that. This is the thing that really threw me off, and this is credit to both of them or not. I don't know. It's not a thing. The thing that threw me off was Gastelum he got to fight his fight. He got to fight inside, throw the bombs, hurt Adesanya, and he couldn't get that game off. And then when the game didn't come off, I thought, this is the whitewash now. Adesanya's going to get his measure and Adesanya's going to destroy him after the second round, right? Because then I thought you got a little guy like that standing outside, no longer being able to get in, no longer after, statistically after the first second round, chances of a knockout are very, very slim. And, third, fourth and fifth, like actual knockout, you might lose from attrition or a submission or whatnot. But statistically, one-shot knockouts, they're kind of not, you don't often see them. So it was very hard, especially for a little guy who has to explode and get in. So I thought, all right, you're going to stand there. It's going to be like a tennis match with Adesanya going, tuk, 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 boom, just hitting him on the outside. So Adesanya got to fight in that range and fight in basically what could have been, if he could have wrote, this is how I want to fight Gastelum, he got to do that too. But he couldn't put Gastelum away either. And that's what threw me off, because I thought, all right, if it's either going to go, Gastelum's going to come out, knock him out, drop him, hurt him in that first round, and then he's going to get to impose himself. That's what I said. It'll be a whitewash. Or he's not going to be able to get inside. He's going to have a lot of difficulty with Adesanya, and then Adesanya's going to be able to do whatever he wants. But neither one of those things happened. That's what threw me off a lot about it. And he did have a lot of problems with Adesanya's length and whatnot. But Adesanya had a lot of trouble with Gastelum's stand-up, and that's something that I wasn't prepared for, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't think the stand-up fight would be as close as it was.
I didn't think so either.
I
also thought Adesanya was going to whitewash Anderson.
Yeah, to Adesanya's credit though, like he has a lot of pop, like crispness, sharpness in his strikes, even in the fifth.
Absolutely.
And I think that's dangerous for anyone, But
how do you think he's able to maintain that crispness all the way through to the fifth round?
I think he's done it forever. I think he's trained to do that. And two, I think it's a body type as well. Like he's got those long arms, like not laden with like heavy muscle, and he just this is your background, so you tell me, like, does that make a difference?
I think the fact that he's not thickly muscled like that, yeah.
Because I can't see someone like Yoel Romero having that sort of game, like being able to incorporate that, being able to do that for 5 rounds. Yeah. Like counter strike like he did, fast, pop, crisp.
He's also playing with length and levers as well, so he's able to sit and counter, because a lot of the times it's like the timing of that. Like Kelvin was coming over the top, and Adesanya was just landing that right hand as he's coming in, catching him flush. I don't know what Gastelum's chin's made of, because he took those shots like boom. Like
did he go down or was getting dropped?
I don't.
Is this a positive or
positive for Adesanya to land him on his chin, and I don't know how Gastelum can take the shots, because he took a lot of shots on the chin.
Dude, he had whiplash.
Yeah,
his head was flying backwards, and he was getting hit from like bad angles, like twisting, turning.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he was really getting rocked.
Yeah. I think that took a lot out of Gastelum, that fight. I think. But like you've been seeing it, we've been seeing it, like as Gastelum has been progressing in the UFC, like in having more and more fights lately, or more so in the heavier division, when he hasn't whitewashed whoever he's been fighting, like he gets dropped in the fights.
He gets hit, he gets stopped, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that has more to do with his exit strategies on a lot of his stand-up.
Do you want to? We were speaking about that before. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I think he gets in really clean and nice, and then he throws his combo, which is like a hook or a...
Hold on. Holman Gauss just says, Gastelum would have knocked Whittaker out, in my opinion. Thank you for your contribution, Holman Gauss. That's not what we're talking about right now, but thank you. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I love the haters, just to say it. Yeah.
What was I saying? He gets in real clean, and then he throws his combo, pop, but then he sits there. He stays there. He admires his work, or he waits. It's like your turn now. You throw, and then they throw.
And credit to him, because he is a tough dude, and tough. A lot of the times
you saw it in the Whiteman fight he had.
Yeah,
he got in, and Whiteman said, "You know what? All right, let's dance." And then they went pop, and then he got put on his bum.
Yeah,
he got back up and blah 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 blah. But I just think he needs to tighten up his defense on the exit. But in saying that, so do I. So, brother, we're in the same boat.
And it's dangerous against a guy like Adesanya as well. I think with him as well, the other thing is you jump out of that range, and him having such long arms, long limbs, you're not. Yeah, a lot of the times I don't think you're quite out of range. Like you might think, especially you're a little guy with little T-Rex arms, and you go, I'm out of range, and he's like, not for me, you're not, buddy.
Or you get out as far as you can, but because of the distance and stuff, it's just not enough.
Yeah. And then you got to come in, and that's when he's catching you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, if I were... No, I don't know. It's hard to say.
If you were Gastelum?
If I was Gastelum, like, I would have attacked that lead leg. Like, Gastelum has the wrestling behind him. But in saying that, though, it's like, if he would have attacked the lead leg and blew too much energy on it, he would have lost the pop in his arm. He would have tired himself out, because he's like a body type that is short, squat, and explosive. You know, he's not really built for those marathon fights.
That's the thing. People don't understand that. Like when they go, why didn't he just... People ask me as well, like, why didn't he just shoot more? And I'm like, dude, you know, it's a 25-minute fight.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard.
And it's not Adesanya's dumb. It's not like Adesanya's like going to be, oh my God, he shot at me. Could you believe it? Like he knows that they're going to go try and shoot.
Yeah. And it's much more tiring to shoot and fail than it is to defend. It really is. It's much, much more. Unless you're like a Khabib.
Yeah, but Khabib doesn't just keep shooting. Because the thing with Khabib is when he shoots, he's able to hold you. Excuse me. Where either he's able to hold you against the cage or get the takedown. The takedown is a big thing because then he can rest.
Yeah, and he capitalizes on every position of the takedown, on like the fighting part, on the when he takes you down and you're fighting up, he finds a way to drain your energy more than his. And
or hold you against the cage.
Their body types. If you look at their body type, you look at all those endurance wrestling guys, like the guys that shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. Like their body types are made for it. Like that's what they do. That's what they're built for. If you would, you know. Like,
that's why they do it.
Yeah, it's like Askren, it's Khabib. It's who's the guy that won the interim belt? Still walking around in the welterweight division.
Oh, Covington.
Like same body types. The Usman. Same body types, all of them. Like. And that's just like what they do, what they're built for. It's why they do it, as you said. You know, Gastelum's not like that. He has the body type to bully a guy on the fence, to land takedowns and control top, but he doesn't have the body type to shoot recklessly forever.
Yeah, if he shoots, he's going to explode. He's going to.
But in saying that though, like if I had to make a game plan for Gastelum, you'd have to break down what his biggest disadvantages are, which is the reach, the distance. And you'd have to put your faith in his ability to creep in, which he has done in many fights before. Like he's good at getting in. He will get in. It's just a matter of when. He gets in and he lands his combos, but then he needs to stick. And if he can't stick with cardio, like in a Nick Diaz sort of way, which he won't because the guy's an outside fighter, he's going to try and escape, he needs something to slow him down. So he needs to attack that lead leg, especially on the lean back. Like Adesanya loves the lean back. When he defends a lot of strikes, he has that wide stance, lean back sort of style, so that he can lean all the way back, all the way to the side, and get out of harm's way. You know, with his height. So
I think the strategy that Gastelum's team had come up with and Gastelum himself was great. The implementation of the tactical components of it in the fight, but man, it's hard when you've been hit and that wasn't the best, I don't think. But then on the flip side of it, I think that Adesanya did a lot of good work too.
So do I. I think Gastelum needed to change his game plan after the second round, like mid-fight. Like in saying that, I can say it, but it's fucking almost impossible trying to do it, especially if you're the corner, especially if you haven't worked it. Like. Yeah,
no, that's the other thing people don't understand. They go, you know, the corner should say this. Like we spoke about it last week. Corner should say this, the corner should say that, and you're like, dude.
Like, but in my opinion, like if you're writing a game plan on paper, you don't like. I would write. Okay, I'd have a lot of faith in Gastelum's ability to get in and cause damage. I'd have so much faith. Everyone he's gotten in on, he's dropped, and I'd have
everyone.
I'd have a lot of faith in that, and I'd put that in there. I'd write it down like, we'll drop someone thing. But then what? Then you have to go, okay, like it's like the branching paths at the thing. What are they called? The flow charts.
Yeah.
Flow charts we drop. Like that. Okay, gets knocked out, cool, tequila.
Yeah.
Doesn't get knocked out, next point of call. Get out, try again. And then like at some point it'd be a branch of like, okay, it's been a round and a half, 2 rounds, cardio levels are dropping because I'm not a workhorse, I can't explode like this, especially in a fight where he has to get in. You know there's going to be a significant amount of exploding exploding energy, fast twitch energy. Like, that is tiring. It's very tiring. So you have to take that into account. But, okay, we need to slow it down. How do we slow it down? Can't sit on the outside. Guy's too tall. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And when Adesanya's coming forward, he's super dangerous.
Yeah, and you can only go as far back as the cage.
And you cannot sit in that mid-range with him playing tennis with your head. You cannot.
And with nowhere to leave, and with you, like, defending on the back foot is also super tiring. Like,
yeah.
It's like super tiring. If you got your back up against the wall, like, and you're like reactive fighting, it's hard. It's super tiring.
And Dave, anything else that you saw?
No, that's it.
What do you think of the main event?
Yeah, that was unreal. You know, it's one of the first fights. One of the first fights, I think, like the commentary has been like a little closer to on the mark. Like, like Poirier is just a bigger guy, much physically, much more established in the division, much more established in the weight, and he hits like a truck. I think it was a great fight. I think it was great. It was just, you know what it reminded me a lot of, like the fight against. Remember when Rose fought what's her name? The last fight she had.
Can you bring up Rose Namajunas?
The chick, the small chick that was fighting, that had the belt for ages.
Joanna?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't believe I forgot that name.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Rose fought Joanna the second time, that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of because, like, he was just getting thrown around. Like, the power difference was so crazy. And it was just, like, he was, Holloway's getting in, he was popping and popping and popping, but he just could not make a mark, could not make a dent. And then Poirier would throw pop, and then hurt Holloway. It
surprised me how much bigger and stronger Poirier looked in that fight. It really did. Like, I didn't think I didn't think there'd be that much of a difference. But apparently Poirier was saying that he has trouble making lightweight now. And like, he used to fight at featherweight. And then you start to think, like, how bad would he have been at featherweight? Because doing big cuts to welterweight, how much does that affect you?
Like, yeah, it's.
Could you make welterweight now?
Never.
No, but if you had to, like you say, could you even make 77?
No.
Not even fight. I'm just saying, could you just?
Not a chance.
You wouldn't be able to get on the scale at 77?
Not a chance.
Could you make 81?
No, not a chance.
You don't think you could make 81?
No.
You could make 81, surely.
Dude. No. Because I've noticed, like, as I'm getting older, the weight sits there a little bit longer. I'm a little bit heavier. The muscles are a little bit thicker. Because remember, when I moved up to middleweight, like, for you to adjust to a certain weight, like, your muscles adjust slowly. Like, you're not feeling the middleweight strength in the first, second, third, fourth fight. It's like now I'm starting to feel that middleweight strength.
Yeah.
And like the cuts are like proper middleweight cuts.
How much easier would it be for you to go up? Would you be able to? How easy could you go up? You reckon? To 93.
Yeah, definitely. Very easy for me to go up.
Sneeze. I'm sorry.
You're right. Very easy for me to go up because, like, guys don't get it. I'm a thick guy. Like, I'm a bigger guy. I'm a heavy guy. And the only thing is, like, if I go up, when I go up.
Do you think you will go up?
Yeah, I think I'll probably finish my career up there. I'm just eventually the cuts are just going to become annoying, and I'll still want to fight, you know. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I'll have to start working with is just a height difference. You know, like working that out, like getting used to that sort of stuff.
There's a lot of tall guys in that division, eh? 6'4", 6'5".
Like, they're all super tall, but. Yeah, you know, I'm confident. Like, my speed and my style of fighting, it's like I'm lucky in that way that it can be adapted to dudes you want to stay away from.
The one thing, just even seeing you spar with light heavyweights and that, the way they can take shots, like a light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Like.
But then, like, I got to ask, like, would I hit differently if I knew I was a light heavyweight?
Like, if you were a light heavyweight, would you hit harder?
Yeah, because, like, right now, even though I'm, like, sitting on the heavier side, I know it's got to go down. I can't just, Like it goes down. It has to go down. Like it doesn't. I don't go up. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Whereas it's different. Your body changes. Your body changes. You know. If I moved up to light heavy, I think I'd be like the Gastelum of.
The Gastelum of light heavy. Good. Let's do some questions from the audience.
Yeah. I tried reading one while we were talking, and I can't do both. I don't know how you do. It's a skill.
I don't know. It says Rob could do a light heavyweight easy, like Latifi. No, he's not.
Is Latifi tall?
Nah, he's like
Latifi's got great wrestling, but
yeah, he's like Gastelum, but like thicker.
He's got great wrestling.
Very, very good.
Super athletic for a guy that's so thick.
It's crazy, man.
I've seen him do backflips.
It says, will Rob keep the speed if he moves up? I think that, yeah, because like the training weight and everything is like Rob walks around at about 96, 97 kilos and still very, very fast at that weight, you know. So it's quite a big cut to 84 kilos for Rob.
People don't realise that because I'm not jacked.
Oh, you're jacked, Rob.
Oh, shoot.
It says, Sean Hart asks, 98 kilos at the moment, Bobby?
Yeah.
Yes.
98 and a half.
98 and a half. Can you read some questions out, Dave, if you can see some? Or Rob, if you...
Yep, so is Romero still is the hardest fight at 185?
Yeah, yeah, Romero's the hardest fight I've had, probably. Like, barring the ones I've lost.
Yeah, but sometimes those fights don't necessarily have to be the hardest fights, the ones you lose.
Yeah, well then, like, that Stephen Thompson fight wasn't very hard.
Yeah.
but I still lost.
Yeah.
But yeah, those last two fights they took it out of me. They were hard fights. Like when you're round 5 deep and like you're both tired, you've both taken damage. It is a nightmare.
There was a question earlier. Someone, I think Rob, you referred to something about the chin. Was it like it was like chin capacity or something like that? Where how strong's someone's chin? Someone wanted to explain. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so when you cut a lot of weight, you dehydrate yourself. So you take a lot of fluid out of your brain.
Your brain basically it just sits in water.
Yeah. So when you start to dehydrate yourself at level like big levels, you like it takes less to knock you out, much less. That's why when you saw Dillashaw go down, he got chinned, and then like it's hard. Or you see a lot of guys go down and they get chinned when before they would never.
Well, a lot of the deaths as well that have occurred in those combat sports have occurred at the lighter weights where the weight cut occurs.
Yeah,
and
or had bad cuts.
Yeah, in boxing and whatnot occurs in those lighter weights. Could you have run it straight to Inglis before he retired? I'm going to answer this for Rob. Rob would not have been able to run it straight at Inglis,
yes, I would have.
even if Inglis has been
100%.
Retired for about 20 years.
You know what? I would have done it twice.
Nah.
So I would have ran over him the first time.
Inglis would do a lot of jail time for that. It would be a massacre.
No.
Even if Inglis is retired for years,
No.
Rob still would not be able to run it straight. I mean, he could run it. It's whether he'd walk afterwards.
What's your height, mate? Honestly.
Whose height?
Rob's.
Mine.
Oh, 5'4", 5'8", 5'7".
I think I'm 181 centimeters. 183 on a good day.
It says here, this is an interesting one. It says, what is your goal in the UFC? Do you want to be a double champ or the middleweight GOAT?
To be honest, like I don't really care. Like like to be honest, I just want to stone people. Like I want to have hard fights. I want to have fights. I just want to fight. I want to stone some people. I have a little list of guys that I want to fight before I retire. I have and I like having hard fights. Like I like developing my skill sets and then putting them to test against someone. Like that's really all I want to do. I've never had a goal. Like I never had a goal of becoming the champ. It's just a result thereof.
And also, I think that the thing that the reward for beating, I don't know, 10 guys in a row or whatever that you've beaten was the belt. As in, like, that wasn't the outcome that you wanted.
Yeah. I never Like I've heard people have pictures of the belt in front of their thing and they look at it every day and they're like, I'm gonna. It's like nah. It's like my thing. I just had a picture of the next dude I was fighting, and then I'll fight you, and then all right, and then step by step and got there. You know? Seriously, get Jacob Malkoon to read the finance and weather. Justin. We need a segment. We need Malkoon weather.
We should.
100%.
That was my idea. That was my original idea. Though. How many kilograms do you think you would have over Israel in the cage? It'll have to be close to 10. I seriously doubt it'll be close to 10 kilos in the cage.
No, he's a big guy. He doesn't like. He's a very tall guy. His weight's distributed, much more. Like, yeah, he'd be very heavy. I've seen him at weigh-ins. He's very heavy. He's a much bigger guy than people give him credit for.
Yeah, he's not like a little guy. Like he's not like my size or something. He's a lot bigger. Has Fab been giving you PR lessons lately? Who says that? Kaz Nathan. I'm not the person to give PR lessons. I'm not very polished myself. What's the thing? Who's the harder fight, Adesanya or Gastelum?
Personally, I think Gastelum would have been a harder fight for me. I think stylistically, it's not the best fight for me. I would have done it. Like,
you would have. Nah, I'm not doing that one.
I would have done it. Like. But I dodged the bullet, I guess. Like, but yeah, no, I think stylistically, me and Adesanya are better.
Dave, any other ones there?
Let me go back.
What do you think? Do you think how would if you were Adesanya, how would you try and fight you?
Me.
Wrestle. You should wrestle.
Yeah, I think you should just shoot doubles.
Or pull guard.
Yeah, pull guard. No, honestly, he can only fight me like he fought everyone else. Like, try to counter-strike me. Try to counter me off me going in. Try to counter me off doing this. Until I start to slow down and then try to pick me out from the outside.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he'll try to pick me off on the outside and then try to capitalize, like, counter-striking. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Nothing else there for him.
Wrestle, man. Israel, wrestle.
If you're watching this, wrestle. Yeah.
Do you think?
You know he's watching this.
Do you think that Israel?
He is watching.
Do you think that Israel?
He's writing down notes to yell at and swear at me on.
Do you think that Israel skipped all the grapplers in the division? It's going too fast. All the comments coming too fast. But do you think he did?
I don't. You know what I was going to say? No, I don't think. But no, yes, he did because he picked his fights. Like, yeah.
So did he say that?
Yeah, he said he picked his fights. UFC don't pick my fights. I pick my fights. So that's fine. You dodge people. That's cool.
What do you think of that back and forwards between him and John Jones?
I think it's. I don't know. Like, Izzy wants to yell at everyone. It's like, he's super angry. Like, I think picking on John Jones though, like for no reason, out of the blue, like he's not even, like he's why right now? Like I think John Jones would kill you.
There's some interesting guys in that division as well. That Johnny Walker, Rockhold now.
Yeah,
I reckon Chris Weidman's going to go up as well.
Is he?
Yeah, it's like and that Thiago Santos fighting for the belt. Like,
these are all very big guys that. Have started to feel the cut.
That's like an exodus of middleweight fighters that have gone up to light heavyweight. They made the light heavyweight division. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ever since I walked in,
all right.
Everyone's just quietly left.
Does Rob think Izzy is powerful?
He's powerful enough. Like I'm under no illusion that if I don't take this fight seriously, he's going to stone me. He's a great guy.
How do you plan on getting around Israel's reach?
Widely. Like,
carefully.
Very carefully.
Who else do you want on your next card with you in Australia against, in this next card? Who else do you want?
To be honest, I'd love to have some on my own team.
Yeah, for sure.
On this card. They're at a point where, like, I honestly think they're top 10 material already.
Jacob the Weatherman Malkoon.
Oh, that's a great name.
The Weatherman. And the Anchorman.
Yeah.
Anchorman.
Ismaili.
Yes.
Whittaker.
Dave Roberts, Dave the Builder.
Dave Francis, like these guys have been training me with a long time, and I'd love to see I'd love to see them in the show finally, like doing what they do. You know, they are more than ready for it.
What's next for you, Rob? Like, what do you?
You know, I guess like the next thing, and you'll be able to speak more.
Wait, how's your stomach in that? Because somebody said they're going to kick you in the stomach.
Yeah, my stomach's good. Like,
don't kick him in the stomach. It's such a rude thing to do.
Like, even if I didn't have a sore stomach, don't kick me in the freaking stomach, please.
Why would you do that?
Nah, my stomach's good. My stomach's good. Like, people don't realize how much I dodged a bullet when they found it and did the surgery straight away. Because if I would have fought, which I couldn't have anyway, but if I would have, or even if I didn't operate in the next 5 hours, I would have died or had long-term life-changing effects.
Can I say something? You know when they say, because I read this thing and they said, or somebody said, I can't even fucking remember. I read it or I heard it or somebody told me, whatever, and people are like, oh, it's your training and you're too brittle and this and that. I just want to come out officially and say, myself personally, I haven't spoken to Alex, the other trainer at the gym, nor Justin, nor the two Justins, or Charlie, but none of us gave Rob chickenpox the first time. That's why he pulled out. The first time he pulled out because he had chickenpox, and the second time he pulled out because he had an internal hernia. And none of those things are part of our training. Right?
Yeah, it had nothing to do with brittle.
That's got nothing to do with him being injury prone or anything like that. No. Chickenpox is fucking real, right? And then he had the internal hernia, nothing to do with our training.
So no, I'm
we don't have people in the gym with chickenpox and fevers and shit.
We just cultivate it in a lab somewhere in case we need it.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
I'm back at full training, and I love it. It's great to be back at the team. We're working hard. But in terms of me personally, like and you'll be able to speak on this more, is that I'm actually going to go to New Zealand in the next couple of weeks to try and share some of our educational programs there. Yeah. And
well, we're looking at launching we already have a very, 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 very good successful program, the GAP program that Rob's wearing the T-shirt for. I'm wearing the T-shirt as well, but as some of you may know, I get cold.
Where is that jacket?
The jacket will come out as winter comes upon us. But right now we've still got a little bit of time. Dave, do you want to talk about a little bit about? We're looking at launching a multifaceted educational program across the Pacific. We want to start branching out into different states in Australia and into New Zealand. We ran a very, very successful program, and then hopefully be able to take it to other islands in the Pacific. Dave, do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so pretty much we got a passion for supporting First Nations people and both sort of Aboriginal, Maori cultures, and we do some innovative stuff with young and older Aboriginal people. So why not spread the knowledge around a little bit more? So hopefully we'll be relaunching GAP in a couple more weeks, or hopefully a bit sooner rather than later, and then go and having a chat over in New Zealand and see what we can get up running over there.
Yeah, so at the moment the GAP program is only available in Cert 3 and Cert 4. We're looking at running it very, very soon, and we want to now branch off into the building trade as well. So keep your eyes out for that. And we also want to put that program into mainstream education as well. So it'll be available not just to First Nations people, but anyone that can do it. But we want to be able to spread that out into the Pacific, New Zealand, Australia, and go from there.
100%. And I'm very excited to be moving over there. I have at least 700 cousins that are going to be jumping on it straight away.
What's that?
I have at least 700 cousins that will be jumping on it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And someone asked what's my iwi. It's Napui. And I'm looking forward to going over there and I'm going to go meet up my family. It's one of those things, I've always wanted to go back to NZ to just see my family, because most of them are over there on my mum's side, and just embrace my culture a bit more. But it's one of those things where it's hard to find that time to
what's crazy
do stuff.
Is people ask about also the other guy that you'd want on the card that you were saying before, but we just Juan, if he could be on that card, that would be fucking cool.
If Juan could be on the Australian card, that would be unreal.
Heavyweight division, Juan,
He's a guy to watch out for. He's gonna be making some big waves.
New Zealand. People ask me about New Zealand. I've never been to New Zealand other than the airport. And
really?
And that's like but I've been like so many other places, but it's because it's right there.
New Zealand's like the only other place that I could live. Like I've travelled around a fair bit now, and like I've always said, nah, like I could never move out of Sydney.
I want to go to New Zealand. It looks beautiful.
It's the only other place that I could actually live. It's nice. It's nice.
I'm going to go. Oh, well, I am going to go, but yeah. Any other questions there? Dave?
Let me see. You're a fake.
Who said that?
Some guy.
But where? Where is it?
Up the top down, right up.
You're a fake. No.
I don't know if you're responding to someone else. I hope so. But if he's not, I'm sorry.
Fab arm wrestle Rob. I won't arm wrestle him. He'll beat me in the arm wrestle. But I will arm wrestle him if he comes down to 75 kilos. We'll cut weight. He can weigh. Look, if he weighs in 80 kilos on the day, I'm willing to give away a few kilos and I will arm wrestle him. Yes, Juan Espino. That's exactly right. Juan Espino.
I think Juan's skeleton weighs 80.
Nah, more. He's huge, dude. you know. Look, this is a true story. Look him up. Look up White Lion, on YouTube. Right, Juan wrestles in the Canary Islands. He's the greatest Canary Island wrestler of all time. This guy's grappling is like full on for real. Like he's really, 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 really good. He used to wrestle right in the Canary Islands at 160 kilos. Because there was no weight division. And I said to him, because he came to Australia. I remember
seeing some photos where he showed us.
He came to Australia now the other day, and we were having lunch and everything, and I was speaking to him, and I said, so how'd you wrestle 160 kilos? And he goes, that was my advantage, because it was one of the smaller guys. And he goes, some of the guys were like 180, 200 kilos, you know? Wow. And how the fuck do you...
You know what always blew me away was like when I knew he was like a legit fighter, and he's gonna... like stress and the mental side of it isn't going to phase him. Is when he said the worst thing about fighting in the Senegal, the worst thing about fighting there was that... Oh, sorry.
He did Senegalese wrestling as well. He was like a Senegalese wrestling champion as well. Yeah. Lived in Senegal, etc. Just give a little bit of...
He said the worst thing was when you hit a guy, their teeth would get stuck in your knuckle. And I was like, you win. Like, you win.
Nah, he's legit. He's very, very legit.
He's very skilled. Like, not only is he like a monster of a guy, like big, strong guy, but he's legit. He's got skill.
Dude, when we went into the house, because like I'm a bit of a nerd. As soon as is your GAP program going to be in Auckland? Yes, we are going to run it in Auckland. Hopefully, yes, absolutely. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be out there. When we got to the house, as soon as I walked in, I saw him, but nobody else knew who he was. Only I knew, and that's why we picked the way we picked, because I didn't think they were going to pick him straight off the bat. And then when we got him, I was like, yeah, this dude's going to go pretty far if he doesn't kill someone.
I got a question for you, mate. What's a mozzie?
I don't know what a mozzie is. Do you know what a mozzie is?
I was going to ask the same question. I thought a mozzie was
I thought it was a mosquito.
That's what we
call it. Yeah, so did I. Like, just like dissecting it, it might be what, a Maori Aussie?
I don't know.
I don't know. Can someone in the comments tell me what a mozzie is? Maori Aussie. Yeah, okay. Because Adesanya called me a mozzie. You know, he called me a fake mozzie.
I don't know. I think somebody wrote there Maori Aussie.
Yeah. Call me a fake mozzie. Yeah.
You know, like, he makes me cringe, but I like him. It makes like it's just such a funny thing to say.
Yeah, it is. Like, I don't understand. It's so weird because they're like, what's he?
I don't know, but
yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know what's funny is like a lot of people, a lot of journos said, oh, it's going to be like New Zealand versus Australia, and I was like, no, it's not. It's like, I'm not fighting New Zealand. I'm bringing them with me. It's New Zealand, Australia fighting him.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, that's me anyway. That's me for the next couple of weeks anyway. And then obviously training with the boys and us.
Where are you planning on going in New Zealand?
Like,
where can people see you if you go to New Zealand, and where will they see you? Are you going to go?
Are we heading North Island? We're heading to Auckland?
I think we're going to go to Auckland.
Yeah.
For sure. Then Rotorua.
Yep. That's where...
Sorry, people, if I don't say the name correctly, people are going to say, look, this is how you say it, but like I don't, like I might not say the names correctly. They're the two places I know for sure we're going to go.
Yeah. All my family is in Auckland and Rotorua. Like I was born in you know what? I was born in Middlemore Hospital.
Yeah.
So like all my family's up in the North Island. So we'll definitely be stopping there. Gotta meet up with the whānau. I love it. See, the first thing I see is broken anus.
Where'd you read that? Where?
There.
Yeah.
Broken anus. Why? Why did you write that?
I don't know. There's no context behind it. That's what makes me funny.
Nah. All right. Well, people, thank you very much. We'll be catching up with you guys very, very soon. And thank you. Thank you very much. Dave, Rob.
Cool.
Thanks. You versus Mighty Mouse. Who wins?
Who?
I said
You? Mighty Mouse would beat me. Mighty Mouse would beat me as well.
Well, you got that range on him, buddy. He's a very short guy.
It's hard. He'll close the distance.
Will he? You got a great push kick. I've seen it. And
Yeah, but not against
your spinning heel kick? People don't realise this, but you're looking at my main sparring partner for Uriah Hall.
I was the main sparring partner for Uriah Hall.
I brought him in, and he was the simulator.
Can I tell you this is a real story before we go? Every time when we warm up at the back before the fights, Rob punches me fucking flush in the fucking face every single time. True or not?
Yeah, well, it's an accident.
Because I got if you can see, I have a missing. My tooth is chipped because Rob uppercutted me for the Romero fight. There's a first Romero fight. The second Romero fight, he got me flush in the chin at the back. But I still did all 5 rounds. I still did all 5 rounds when Rob fought Romero.
More than most of them.
100%. Okay, guys, thank you very much and catch up soon.
Thanks
thank
for
you.
tuning in. Peace.
Bye-bye.